Right, Daz, show 2, get your Crocs on, let's do this.
Daz and Rick, the Tenerife podcast.
Tenerife, adelante, tu coraje y tu valor no conoce rival. Tenerife, Tenerife.
Welcome to the second episode of that Tenerife podcast.
Episode 2?
I know, number 2. Well, we got past the first one anyway, didn't we?
We survived.
Well, did you enjoy it?
Oh, mate, honestly, it was brilliant. The reaction, what reaction have you had down here?
Brilliant. It's all been very, very positive, put it that way.
It was really, really weird. Up on the Gulf, as I said, 5 minutes from the airport, a little bit out of town. A lot of people have heard it, more people than I expected, to be honest with you. So thank you very much if you were listening. It's been really, really good.
And we've almost got, 500 listens on YouTube
on
at the
YouTube,
moment?
yeah, we made nearly 500 listens. We made it to iTunes, we made it to Spotify.
We did. It just takes a few days later, doesn't it? 'Cause
you
it's
know
got to
what
get
it is.
reviewed. What the guys at Spotify and iTunes, they've got to review it. They've got to make sure that there's no bleeps and
I'll tell you what, I'm glad we did make iTunes, because to be honest with you, the amount of Apple gear that I've got, I think I paid for Steve Jobs' funeral, so we deserve to be on there. But that's now up and running, so if you want to look at it and listen in your ears when you're walking your dog or anything, it is literally go to iTunes, type in that Tenerife podcast, or on Spotify you get the same thing as well. And we're also busy pushing it out to other mainstream media as well. You'll still be able to find us on Facebook. That Tenerife podcast is always available now on Facebook, and that will take you to the YouTube link, where we're having a lot of success at the moment, as on YouTube.
And we don't just stop there. We've also got an email address.
Yeah, the email address is up and running. If you want to get in contact with ourselves.
See if I can remember it.
Go on then.
It's thattenerifepodcast@gmail.com.
Dead easy, man. Dead easy. Well done. So if you want to get in contact with ourselves, please do. One of the things that we were thinking about to do is see if we could find out who our furthest listener is.
Well, at the moment, I know there's people in the Gulf.
Yeah, we've definitely got the
That's
goal. Well, first of all, we've got to have a starting point. So where are we today, Daz? Where are we?
Today we're in Los Cristianos once again, just like last week. Just a little bit further up in the Pasarela Centre.
In a beautiful bar, by the way.
It is called the Attic Bar. Two good friends of mine, Tony and Emma, are the bosses, and it really is modern, nice little modern.
It's gorgeous. It's a fresh bar, really fresh looking. It looks like it's not been open long by the looks of it.
From I think about back end of last year.
Back end of last year,
yeah. And we've got Joe here at the moment. The bar's not actually open, but Joe's here.
Joe's kindly let us in. She's opened the doors.
Joe?
Hi, Joe. She's there, fizzing around.
Doing bits and pieces. Yeah, this used to be years ago the Blue Terrace Bar.
Right, so we've got our start point. Our start point now is the Attic, yeah?
Yeah.
In Los Cristianos. Our furthest listener at the moment, I think, well, to be honest with you, I can get as far as Oldham, because my stepmom's listening in Oldham. I know that.
Oh, that's
so
good.
We've got Oldham. The question is from there is, can we get anybody any further? So how do they do this now then?
Well, what they do, they send us an email, thattenerifepodcast@gmail.com,
right,
and let us know where they're actually listening from.
We want to see how far we can get this. We mentioned Vegas last week. We mentioned other places as well. Let's see if we can get this far and wide, that's for sure. So once again, you find us down at the Attic in Los Cristianos. It's a beautiful bar up on the Pasarela Centre, at the back of top end of Los Cristianos, near the hill. What's that? People walk that hill, don't they, Daz?
I would never ever walk that hill. I was paid to walk that hill.
It's a nice view, though.
I think that's the heights. I'm not sure. I get mixed up with places I don't go.
Yeah. I can imagine that.
I don't go there, so I don't know where they are. But yeah, it's the top end of Los Cristianos, right next to the Mirador Strip.
We need to thank a couple of people first of all. We need to thank Emma and Tony first of all.
Of course you do.
Emma's walked in.
Emma's here.
Give us a shout, Emma. Hi. There she is.
Yeah.
That's Emma. She's opened up the bar for us as well with Joe. So thank you very much for that.
And we've got the first.
Yeah, first pints in as always. There you go. Cheers, Daz. All the best. Need to thank also a couple of people from the reactions that we've had over the last week.
We've had some fantastic reactions. I would personally like to thank Diddy.
Who's
David James Hodgkinson.
I was going to say.
Sunday name is
David James Hodgkinson.
Or Diddy. Do you know what? Diddy's been on this island for I'm going to say about 28, 29 years as an entertainer.
Right.
And being an entertainer myself, all the entertainers know who Diddy is.
Right.
And he's a very good friend of mine, and he has some very complimentary things to say about the
did
podcast last week. Yes, he
really?
did. So I need to give a big shout out to him. And
well, thank you very much, Diddy.
Advice as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Right.
I definitely need to thank Jamie Drew. Jamie Drew is a DJ that I know from Power on FM, who actually he plugged the show a couple of times. He listened to the show. He sent me a private message congratulating me on the show.
Wonderful.
And then he actually did a couple of plugs for us over the couple of days on the island itself on Power on FM. So Jamie, if you're listening, thank you very much, mate. I really, really appreciate that. It was really good.
And also Power on FM, of course.
Power on FM, thank you very much. Yeah, for letting us use your airspace as well. It's really good. Some entertainers. I've had numerous texts from entertainers.
There's been quite a few entertainers. So on behalf of myself and Rick, to all the entertainment community would like to say thank you very much.
A big thank you.
Doesn't break the Tenerife podcast.
So then, Daz, another week gone by. How's your week been, mate? What have you been up to?
It's been all right. It's been quiet. When I say quiet, I mean I haven't been that busy myself. I haven't been going that many places, but I've been to work, which has been great. But one thing I have noticed in Tenerife at the minute, I know there's a lot of doom and gloom, and we're not going to go there. We said we weren't going to go there. But what I have noticed about the quietness of Tenerife is that I've been able to get everywhere. We've been able to get to Mercadona and do a shopping.
Oh, you mean the traffic, the level of traffic?
Yeah. It's crazy. There's not much traffic on the road. The beaches are quiet. You can get around to pools. You can just everywhere is easier to get around. Because normally, if you were coming into Los Cristianos, you've got a roundabout called Magic Roundabout.
Oh, is that the one with the fountain?
That's the one with the fountain. Yeah. And it's an absolute. Come down here at 4 o'clock and try to get round that roundabout, and you will absolutely have a coronary because it's that bad.
Yeah.
At the moment, it's lovely. I know I'm looking at a good thing out of a bad situation kind of thing, but that's what I've taken from this week.
In the selfish part of me, I feel exactly the same. Part of me is trying to get off the golf. When you try and get off Golf del Sur, for anybody who lives around that area is going to be fully aware.
Isn't that Las Chafiras?
Oh my
roundabout?
Lord! Oh God! It's like you can literally have a 10-second job, and it could take you an hour to get sorted to get off the golf itself. And that's obviously then gone a lot easier. But, that's the selfish side of us because we know it's going to come back. We want it to come back.
We do, definitely we do.
Nothing's changed at this moment in time. We're in the second week of September and the quarantines are still in place back in the UK, which means the tourism is very, very quiet here, or non-existent for the UK tourism here. But it will get itself back together. I think most probably speculate maybe in the next 2 months. I think it will start hopefully seeing a change.
And while it's all up in the air for me, while it's all up in the air, kind of our opinions, they do matter, but what's the point?
Yes.
We just got to wait until whatever happens.
You've got to go with it, man. You've just got to go with the flow. Some people will turn around and say, I reckon somewhere in the future, someone will turn around and say, thank God for the coronavirus because that actually made me the person that I'm going to be today. It depends how you react to it. If you're reacting, quick out the blocks and, we have to diversify the stuff that we do. My day-to-day job's changed now, so, this is the reason why I diversify. But some people, I know they're having a hard time, I understand that as well, and again, we'll touch on that again later, but there will be people who will be saying, thank goodness for the coronavirus because it's made me the person who I am now.
Absolutely.
5 years down the line, that might be the case.
Yeah, absolutely. And finally, I just want to say one more thing about the noise.
Oh, yeah. Working bar.
It's a working bar. It's a bar that's open to the public as it is now. Like I say, we've got our beers.
Yeah.
There's customers in already. So this background noise that you hear is Thankfully, it's a working bar.
It's working bar. People are here, and let's face it, Daz, we couldn't afford a studio anyway, so we may as well get drunk while we're doing this. One of the things that we mentioned, Daz, earlier is to see which listener we can find that's the furthest away from ourselves, which is Los Cristianos. Yeah. However, I've also got another challenge.
All right, okay.
Who's our most famous listener? Now, one of the things, before we go there, let me just explain the reason being. I've got an affinity with this island now for the last 30 years. My mum and stepdad moved here 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And 30 years ago, from what I can remember, they were absolutely friends with the most rarest of celebrities. I used to call them Z-list celebrities.
And who exactly did you say? Are
you ready for this?
Yeah, go
on. Mike Baldwin, Coronation Street.
Oh, wow, that's an excellent Z-list.
Ruthie Maddox, Heidi High.
Oh, right, yes.
Shaking Stevens, I'll top trump you. I'll throw a Shaking Stevens in there as well.
For me, who was the guy that sang?
I've put you on the spot now.
You have? Who was the guy that sang That's My Gold?
Oh no.
You know which one I mean?
Yeah, we'll have to come back to that. I can't remember that one.
What's it called, man? Anyway,
I'll throw Roy Walker in, but everyone knows Roy Walker.
Everyone knows John Lowe, but everyone knows John Lowe.
John Lowe as well, yeah. But what we're trying to do is we're going to try and find out who is our most famous celebrity, Z-list celebrity even, let's call it. Who's the most famous Z-list? It doesn't matter. Any celebrity, I'll take any, me.
Yeah, absolutely, mate,
I'm not shy, but we'll take anyone that you want. If you see it.
If you do see somebody on the island who is the best celebrity that you can get.
And you tell them to share the show.
Yes.
Share the show. You have a right to brag and put that on your email to us, that Tenerife podcast @gmail.com, and let us know who it is. And we'll give you a mention on in the future, some future shows as well.
Doesn't break the Tenerife podcast.
So once again, you find us down at the Attic Bar in Los Cristianos.
Big shout out to Tony and Emma.
Tony and Emma. Emma's kindly opened the doors for us. Emma, she's there.
And Joe as well.
And Joe, she's making a cocktail as we speak or something like that. Yeah. One of the things about it is we are lucky enough to have a bar that's actually open. I do actually want to touch on something that I've seen over social media in the last couple of weeks. And that's actually down to the fact that there's a few entertainers that have actually left since COVID has actually happened, due to financial reasons, due to mental health issues. The big note, the one that really struck home with me, I know we've lost over the last few, a lot of entertainers, but the big one for me was last week was Michael Levy Jr., who apparently I think has been here for years. Is that right, Daz?
Yeah, he's been here for a few. Do you know what? It's tough. It's tough being an entertainer on the island.
Well, that's great. Well, you've been on the entertainers, being one of the compares. Yeah. Where's you comparing at?
At the moment, I compared the Pheasant Pluck. I'm the resident compare there, but before that, I was on the circuit. You
were on the circuit yourself. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, for about four and a half years, I was on the circuit for. The issue is, there's no venues to play, and what venues there is, and I'll be honest with you, they're not offering wages.
Right.
You've got to pass the bucket around, or you've got to...
You see, when that first started, that looked like a great idea, a way to get around stuff, but after that, it's just after a while, it's like, I think even the entertainers themselves were starting to feel a bit embarrassed.
I think that the venues that this is happening in, the venue has to turn around and think, okay, what's going to be the best way? Because they don't want to alienate the people that are at the venue, because at the end of the day, the people that are at the venue are not a little bit of tourists, but mainly residents.
And
they're getting residents to put the hand in their pocket, which is fine.
Yeah.
However, there's got to be a finite amount of times they'll do that.
Yeah, I completely agree with it. I mean, one of the things that I was actually last week privileged enough to see Michael Levy Jr.'s final performance. I was at the Waterfall.
Waterfall, yeah.
And to be honest with you, when he did his final song and came back on for his encore, you could visibly see the tears in his eyes. He was genuinely upset.
Do you know what? Michael Levy Jr. and Stephanie and the kids, lovely people, and the man works extremely hard.
Yeah.
To provide for his family, and when it's the uncertainty.
He didn't take that decision lightly at all.
Not.
I mean, again, I think if you see him on social media, you'll see that there was a 10-minute video of his explanation. He didn't have to explain anything to anybody, but he was on there.
And then we go back to the mental health aspect of it. It's got to torture some people that have got this responsibility of a family. I've got myself in it. You've got kids.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got your daughter that's over here now.
Yeah, that's right.
That will weigh heavily on somebody's mind, but when you've got 3 kids, it's going to weigh even more.
What I can gather, and somebody might correct me if I'm wrong, the one thing I can remember that you mentioned there was because these kids were so young and you had to put them to school, and the schools were following certain COVID rules and restrictions, including immunisation rules as well, that just didn't sit well with him. Hence the reason why he took the decision then to leave.
And you know what? I've got to give him respect for that, because you've got to believe what you think's right.
Yes, absolutely.
It's primarily look after your family.
The main thing is for me, I hopefully, and I think for the island of people who do know him, and I don't know him well at all, but I do hope that this is not going to be the last time we see him on the island. I think hopefully he'll become back stronger in different times.
I do hope he comes back for 2 reasons. One, he's a great act. He's a great singer.
What a voice! Oh my God! I saw him for the first time live only like 3 weeks previous. I've seen him online, which we're going to talk about in a second. But because of online, that was the reason why I wanted to actually go and see him live. Yeah. What a voice that man's got!
And 2, he's an absolute gentleman.
Yeah, absolutely. Very, very humble man indeed. Brings us on to another one as well. Cy Benson.
Yes, Cy Benson.
How many years has he been here?
26 years he's been here.
And Cy Benson is... You fill us in, Daz.
Well, he's announced that he's leaving. I don't know the whys and wherefores, the reasons why, but 26 years he says he's going back, says he can't afford to live, and it's...
Has that got obviously to do with the COVID restrictions, obviously to do with the bars closing?
I can only imagine so, yes. I can only imagine
crikey,
so. And when an actor, I suppose, is legendary, as Cy Benson, as to turn around and say they're leaving, it's going to come as a shock to everybody.
Yeah.
But I'm a big believer in regeneration for the person themselves and for life in general. Life goes on, the circle of life, etc., but everything has to regenerate. Everything's got to go on in another form. And I think that's what's happening everywhere at the moment.
Well, Cy, if you are listening as well, I mean, all the best with whatever it is you do. I hate to see you leave. I've seen Cy perform many times. He's friends with Shelley.
He's a friend of mine as well. We go back a long way, and he's an absolute gentleman. I just want to wish him all the best for when he does go back. It's going to happen about Christmas, so hopefully we'll make
things might change.
Things might get him on the show.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see what we can do with that. It's actually our time now to introduce our live guest for this week. We've got the one and only Miss Hayley Butler. Honestly, I feel I've got like famous people next to me here.
It's like royalty, isn't it?
Starstruck. Tenerife. Even the kids are crying for you. Tenerife royalty.
They have that effect on people.
I want to start off. How long have you actually been on the island?
Right, I've
You've got to work it out.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I came here in 2001.
All right. Yeah.
19 years ago, Pet.
All right, you're making me
19 years ago. Here we go.
But I did go travelling for a little while when around Australia, New Zealand, Fiji, and I did leave at one point for just less than a year and then came back.
Right, okay.
So, yeah.
But your
Before we
Tenerife
start,
adventure, your Tenerife adventure started
2001.
in 2000.
2001.
In May 2001.
Start of a movie. There you go. You're saying
Yeah.
your biopic's getting made already.
I want to go back to the beginning of your musical career, so to speak. You were quite young when you started.
Very young, like 3 months. No, I'm not kidding. 15.
15 years of age, you started?
Yeah.
You started singing?
This
Yeah.
happens, you know, and then this happens in the north of England especially, with
Yeah.
young singers.
Well, you're not from the northeast.
No, I'm from Yorkshire. I'm from Sheffield.
You're from Sheffield. I've done my stalking.
Have you?
I've been stalking, just like Sarah. I've been stalking you as well, Sarah
Yeah.
Wagstaff from last week. You are from Sheffield. It says your profile, you're single. Is that right?
I am.
Yes. You are born 7th of November 1984.
Oh, here we are.
Yeah.
All them birthday cards better be coming right at me soon.
You're a Scorpio.
I am.
In the Chinese New Year, it was the year of... Yeah, it was the year of the rat.
I was gonna
Sorry,
say
we'll move
rat.
on
I
from
was
that.
like, yeah.
You've got an Uncle Daz Butler.
I am.
Yeah, you see. You've got a cousin Emma.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got a cousin Katie.
Oh my gosh, here we are. What was
Tell
that?
you, you've got a Julie family member as well.
Oh, but yeah, it's my
Julie
Yeah.
family member.
That's what it
Is that like
says.
an auntie or an uncle that they don't normally
I
talk
love
about?
your favourite quote on Facebook. I love you more today than yesterday, but less than tomorrow. How cute is that?
I know, I'm such a romantic.
But there's another one. You've got 1,937 friends on Facebook.
She's popular.
That's,
She's
I don't know,
popular.
20 people, man.
I've got like 6.
I don't know. I jumped around on different social medias to have a look around and see what I could find out about you. Couldn't find a lot. I found a post on Instagram on the 1st of April 2016. Where are we, Hayley?
Masca.
Where are we? We're in Masca.
Yeah.
Can you explain what that is?
That was me and Dylan went up to a friend of ours called Ross, and
Right.
Dylan was actually going up to have a tattoo done,
Right.
and he was looking after a house up in Masca. It was absolutely chucking it down
Very
of
good.
rain.
Very good.
Yeah, and as you can see in the picture that's behind us, as you come into Masca, if anyone's never ever been, it's an amazing place to go and visit in Tenerife. So it was like waterfalls coming down through the valley, and it was incredible.
Was it amazing?
It was so
It
good.
looks so, so beautiful. So that's Masca. That's an absolutely beautiful place. Your face, you're looking worried, Hayley. You really are. I'm going to go
I'm
back.
just looking at all these technical buttons.
I
It's
know.
just all. I'm not
I said
technical.
before, I'm the white Will I Am. I'm William. That's me, the white Will I Am. We're going to go back onto Facebook. Try to find a bit about you. Quite a private person. You do like the odd review, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
On the 24th of October 2017, you put a review on for the Delhi Darba. In 17 years in Tenerife, I can honestly say it was one of the best Indian meals I've eaten over here. Beautiful food, amazing flavours, and very friendly staff. We'll definitely be returning. Thank you.
Oh mate,
Did you go back?
I love me a grub, yeah, and I love Indian food.
Did you?
Yeah.
I like that.
Honestly.
Personally though, Daz, I actually prefer this one. On the 7th of September in 2015, Hello Sailor Boutique. I picked up a couple of gorgeous new outfits from here recently, and I'm extremely happy with them. The price and quality were great. See you soon to add to my collection. Bit of info about Hello Sailor. They said here at Hello Sailor Boutique, you'll find all the playtime where you need to make the sailor in your life say hello sailor. Needless to say, I'm going to be saving that page, Daz, that's for sure anyway.
Oh, absolutely, just for research purposes. Hayley, if I can take it to when you first started, like myself, we were just young'uns when we started in the working men's clubs. When did you start? How old were you? What did you do?
I was doing my exams at school at 15 years old, and I saw an advert in the local paper, The Star.
The Star?
in
The
Yorkshire.
Daily Star?
No, The Star of Sheffield.
Oh, the Star of Sheffield.
Yorkshire
I have no.
Star.
Yeah, looking for a singer to join a trio. So I went for the interview and got the job. And
Were
I
you thinking
joined.
about heading the trio, or were you thinking of just being one of the trio?
No,
or-
it was a guy called Andrew who owned the actual trio.
Right.
And I think they'd already got another girl called Lisa, so they're looking for the final piece of the puzzle, and
Right.
there I was.
Really?
So I went and did the interview, yeah, and I got the job, and we were called Blaze.
Blaze.
Yeah.
I was only a year older than Hayley when we started, and the clubs, and they're a bit of a baptism of fire. Well, Shelley, you're
Yeah.
I think she was young as well. She was about the same age as me when we first met.
Yeah.
And it is a baptism of fire, but you're green, aren't you? How did you feel? Do you remember much of it?
Yeah, do you know what? Because for me, I've always wanted to sing. It's something that I've always wanted to do, but I've never really had much confidence, as in sort of standing and talking to people, but where I think when you get into sort of the clubs, it really brings you out of your shell.
At what age did you realise you wanted to sing?
When I was really young at school.
So you really, the whole direction of childhood was to direct you towards the fact of getting to the stage. And then
Definitely.
how many years did you do the clubs in the, was it just in the north, predominantly in the north?
Yeah, well, I worked for an agency called Peller Artists in Sheffield, so they used to, as anybody knows that's done the clubs, they send you here, there and everywhere.
Yeah.
Obviously, being the age that I was, I couldn't drive, so we always just used to all jump in a van and we were on the road again.
Good
It was like
times.
Max and Paddy, yeah. I lived on pot noodles from the garages and just
yes.
eating utter rubbish, yeah, but it was good, it was amazing.
How many years did you do that for?
Oh gosh, a good year, maybe a little bit more. But one of the girl that I actually sang with in the trio, we ended up coming out here to Tenerife together.
All right.
What was the decision that made you think to yourself, right,
It
that's it, I'm off to
was
Tenerife?
literally just around the corner from where we are now, Beverly Hills Heights.
Oh yeah, we can see it from here.
We were on
You
the office
can.
before. I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
know the name of it. I just said it was the something Heights. Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
That's
and
great.
we stayed there on holiday.
Yeah.
There was a few of us came over on holidays, and I went into the Crazy Horse Bar underneath, and Tanya Tavara was singing.
Wow, yes,
Tanya Tavara, who's that?
And
Nick Page.
Nick Page.
Oh
as
yeah, I've
well.
heard Nick and Tanya, I've heard
So
them.
she's from Barnsley, which I knew her from being back in the UK. She was part of Girl Nation.
Yeah.
And I was obsessed with going to watch her, and she was incredible. So anyway, I ended up getting in a conversation with her, and she just said obviously how much of a great life it is doing it over here.
Yeah.
And you don't have it's not seasonal, it's all year round, and yet it's so much easier than lugging gear like obviously everyone that knows it does Clubland. It's not just turn up, plug
It's the
your
stairs,
iPod
and it's
in,
all the stairs with the speakers and everything like that.
setting all the gear up, waiting for the bingo, then packing
Oh, you're
down.
going to be quiet at the
and then-
bingo, you get told off, you make a noise at the
honestly.
bingo, I've heard.
Yeah, so
Unbelievable. So how old were you when you actually said, right, I'm in Tenerife? You put your foot down on Tenerife, on what age were you then?
I either just 17 or 16, I'm not sure. It was,
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's incredible. That's a bit young to get
I think
to...
I might have just turned 17 because it came out in the March, so I think I'd just turned 17.
Unbelievable. And then you had to then all of a sudden then find a career path and find gigs and find yourself, get
And
work.
because, like I said to you, I loved the singing part of it, but the aspect of standing on stage and speaking to people petrified me. So I didn't actually do it straight away. I went into hotel work.
So you had to learn your craft, you say?
I just learned to be confident, especially at that age.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than standing on a stage when it's full of people that are, a lot older than you and have got a lot more life experience and stuff, and you don't really know what to say.
Yeah.
Is confidence a big thing with you that you didn't have?
I didn't have it, and I think you get it more, obviously, doing our job with life experience. The more things that you do that happen to you, the more people that you have friends with and stuff, you get so much more knowledge.
The reason I ask this is because there's two types of singers. There's the ego, and some have the voice to match.
Which
Some
one
don't
are you,
have the
Dad?
voice. I'm not saying what type I am. It's not about me. I'm not about me. But when I see Hayley perform on stage, big powerhouse singer,
Yeah.
big personality to match,
Yeah.
but not a big personality, a very quiet personality. Is that what you're like off stage?
The biggest credit I've got for you, and I know it's awful because you're going red already. It's the humility, how humble. I know you personally as well as a friend, and it's how humble you are. And it's moving on what we're going to talk about in a second about the stuff that you do. But I've got to touch on this. Tenerife Entertainment Award, Best Female Vocalist. How many times? Come on, how many? 3 times, Daz. 3 times, mate.
Now,
Seriously.
there is, for me, it'd be 3.
Yeah, and
But
silently.
Hayley's like,
Yeah, 3. Let's not talk about that. That is what an absolutely amazing credit that is.
Yeah,
For the
thank
people on
you.
this island, the reason why we're doing these shows is for people like yourself, people listening who. Everybody, if you know Tenerife, will know Hayley Butler. If you don't know Tenerife, then that is who Hayley Butler is. You are the best female vocalist on the island for 3 times since you've been here. Absolutely amazing.
I've got a great question for you. Do you take praise easily?
Not
Do you know what?
really.
And the reason why I've asked, because I still have an issue with it. And I think all singers of a certain way. You're a very homely, you're a very down-to-earth singer, and your personality, beautiful personality, but I find praise quite fake, almost like you're not really
It's
giving
hard.
it to me.
Some things are hard to hear when you don't think that yourself. It's really, like you'd said, best fit. I personally think there is people that are better. So it's,
The facts, but the facts are the facts, and that's what it is. And I think if that's been awarded to you, an accolade for yourself, then yes, that's something that you could turn around and say, yeah, you are. But that's one of the things that I like about you the best, is the fact that it is that how humble it is that you've actually, you feel about that anyway. As we mentioned last week, March the 17th, that was the day for me, that was the main day that we came, March 17th, 2020.
That was the night of the 16th, I was in Bojangles when at midnight. Where were you at the beginning of the lockdown?
I was in Paddy O'Kelly's.
Paddy O'Kelly's,
Yeah,
where's that?
on a Saturday night. It is opposite Columbus.
Oh yeah, were you working? Columbus Hotel in Los Americas?
Yes.
Okay, and you were working?
I was on stage. Everybody was starting and ahhing. What was going on? Is everything closing? People were getting phone calls as I'm on stage, text messages coming through. Police have just been and closed this bar, and they've just come round and done this and done this. So we were just patiently waiting and seemed to drag it out as long as we possibly could.
You were just still going?
Just kept going and going and going until we actually closed the doors and just had a lock in.
I was on I was on Golf del Sur. I walked into a bar at 12:05, and the barman, the owner of the bar, kindly turned around and says, "I'm not serving you. I'm closing because of COVID." So I was like, really? Well, that's what happened to me. But what amazed me, that was March the 17th.
Yeah.
March the 20th, once again, I've went onto social media like I always do. You know what I'm like with social media. March the 20th, a page came up, and this page came up was called Live from the Lockdown.
Yeah.
Now, Live from the Lockdown itself, I didn't know too much about it. Again, lockdown clicked up, so therefore it followed through on the Facebook page. I clicked on it, decided to follow it as well. To this day, Live from the Lockdown now has 5.9 thousand followers. And when we're talking about 5.9 thousand, yeah, look at your face. The reason why Hayley Butler's face has just gone, it's like a chin's just hit the floor, is because Hayley Butler, you're the person who created Live from the Lockdown. Is that right?
I am.
Tell me about why did you 3 days after lockdown? Why on earth did this idea come? Where did this idea come into your head? Come on.
So, for anyone that knows me, will know I'm really, really good friends with Michael Levy Jr.
We've just been speaking about Michael before, so yeah.
Yeah. So me and him were in talks. Now Michael, he has a lot of info and he's done a lot of research, and he could sit for hours and hours and tell you about things that he's already predicted that have happened.
Really?
Yeah, honestly, dates and things that are going to happen and how he thought it was going to all pan out, and a lot of it has actually happened the way that he's said. So we spent a lot of time on FaceTime, on the phone chatting and stuff, and we decided, like, well, if we're not going to be able to go out into the bars and work, then what do you think we should do? Yeah. So we kind of both was like, well, we can always sing, but then how do we get an audience? Right. So then it was obviously use social media. Uh-huh. Then I spoke to my sister in the UK. Yeah. And she said, what about a group where people, rather than everybody having to, say for instance, one person wants to go and watch Darren tomorrow night, but then the following night they want to watch Michael Levy, then the following night after that they want to watch me. Yeah. Everybody, you would have to have them as friends on Facebook to be able to find them and keep going all the places to go and find these people. Yeah. If you just had one place to find everyone, that everyone just goes to.
It's like one stage.
Yeah. One platform that everyone goes to.
It was a great idea.
Fantastic idea.
It really, really was.
So then it just was a case of getting it out there and getting everybody to join the platform. Uh-huh. But then I kind of...
By goodness, they did.
Yeah, they certainly did. They certainly did.
They did, yeah, and thank you so much to everyone that did do that.
At what point did you realise you've actually cottoned onto something here and you went, wow, this is...
I think I kind of went, oh my God, I've bit off more than I can chew with this. I was literally having to set my alarm every hour to put people... Because I was the admin. Yeah. And I'd gone and made all the singers that were joining the group. I'd also made them admin, but a lot of people weren't grasping what to do. Right. And I was wanting the people to go live from their own page, but as admin, share then to Live from the Lockdown. But they weren't doing that. They were still just
they weren't social savvy like you really, were they? I mean, some people can, great voice, but don't tend to be social savvy. So it came down to your toes.
So then it was all just like every hour my alarm was going off, and I'd be, I don't know, walking my dog, right, who's on now, and having to scroll down the Facebook to find out who was on and then share them, so just sharing it.
Was it the fact that it got bigger than, well, it obviously did get bigger than you expected it to be, but did it even exceed that?
It was huge, and obviously, but then I was getting sort of messages from people, oh, well, can we have this person on at this time, and can I have then you
became the secretary.
Yeah, and then I'd get other people going, well, can I have this slot every week at this time? and then someone will go, well, that's not really fair because I want to do that slot, and then it just always like, oh
Yeah,
my
that's
goodness
what I was going to
me.
come to. That did that affect you?
Yeah, because then I was getting messages from people, why did you not share mine the other night? And I was like, and then it
really?
started to make me feel bad. Yeah.
No. So what started out? You started off as it was a good, meaningful thing. Sometimes it had its down points as well.
Yeah, well, do you know, the thing was, when me and Michael originally said, right, okay, this is what we'll do, and we started to do it, there was people, you know, in their own right, or very, very negative towards it, like, oh, well, I think it's out of order that people are doing this, especially because a lot of us, you know, didn't know the situation then, but put up a PayPal link for people to be able to sort of tip if they thought that you'd given a good performance, which is absolutely no different to if you're doing anything in a bar and people want to come and buy you a drink and say well done. It was absolutely no different to that, but people...
But that's actually become now the norm.
Well, yeah.
That's now starting to become
because
the norm
people,
in this new... They call it the new, you know, the new normal and stuff like that, but that's actually starting to become
because
the new
remember
normal
when we
now.
actually thought this was going to be 2 weeks, and now 6 months down the line we're still in the same
2
boat.
weeks, yeah, it's a
When
lot down to
somebody
2.
does something, and in my eyes, when somebody does something for the first time, like the PayPal link, it can go on. It goes both ways.
Yes.
They love it and they hate it, and they don't know how to react to it the right way.
Yeah.
Because of the person that it originates from, in their mind, they have a way that it should go down, but then they don't. Not that they don't understand, they don't expect people to go, I think that's completely wrong. But in the grand scheme of things,
everybody
it was
has
the right thing to
different.
do.
Everybody has different opinions, and that's completely, absolutely fine.
It's great to have an opinion. You don't need to fall out if you've got your own opinion. That's
No,
the
and
thing.
also what we always said, and everybody, you know, if you've got nothing nice to say, then just don't say anything. Just leave people to just do what they're doing.
Absolutely, absolutely. So what you're actually saying, life in the lockdown, that actually still going now, even though after...
It is. It's an open platform now for everyone still to be sharing, putting their, you know, if a lot of people are still doing lives.
Well, it's a great idea. I mean, because a lot of the bars are still not open yet, so
Yeah.
the entertainment's still not being able to be put on. So for these people to go on there to showcase what they
Yeah,
can do and
people are
entertain
still-
people.
But as entertainment has now started in the UK, obviously you will see a dwindle in the amount of performances on there.
That's
Do you
it.
still think it's something that you're going to carry on going forward?
Do you know what I think we should do with it as an island and as
Yeah.
a sort of community of entertainers? I think we should use it as a platform to maybe, I will keep it, but
Yeah.
when everything starts to open again, choose a different venue every week and go live from that place so that
This
people...
is how the mind of
See.
Hayley Butler works.
I
you
know,
see,
but
this
it's
is
again,
what
it's looking at, it's like diversifying into what's happening to the new normal. I hate that word new normality, but it's diversifying
Yeah.
to kind of how do we actually move forward in the times that we're in at this moment in time. You were fully aware we had Sarah Wagstaff on last week. She was an absolutely brilliant guest. She was so funny. Honestly,
She is a best.
so
She's
nervous,
amazing.
but honestly so funny. She says she climbed Tady,
She did.
and she did it with you.
She did.
And you, tell us about that. How was that?
Well, I can't even... I said this to Sarah the other day, actually, and we were I can't believe it's almost a year since we did it.
I was like a year ago.
So we were training this time last year, doing
Right.
our hikes and stuff.
Well, hold on, training. How do you train? What do you,
So-
you just go and walk up, say, Guaza Hill, or...
Yeah, well, you
Yeah?
basically just get your walking
There's a
boots
hill.
on.
Let's climb.
Get your walking boots on, and yeah, you just choose different routes. And
Yeah, how did you find climbing up Tady, Hayley? Would you do it again?
grueling and brutal, and yeah. But do you know what? How mental that I'm actually saying this. I would do it again.
But the reason why you climbed it was for a charitable reason?
Yes, we raised money for Live for Rico. Live Pause.
Oh, Life Pause again, so it was another Life Pause of Rico.
Yeah.
And how much did you raise, do you know?
I'm gonna say close €10,000.
Oh, I can't... Really?
I'm
10,000
I
euros?
think so.
My God. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think between myself and Sarah, yeah.
That's absolutely phenomenal.
And then, of course, Jock was part of our group as well, and
Yeah,
he
yeah.
raised over 3 for Helping Hands as well. So
We
between
talked
us-
about Helping Hands last week as well.
Yeah.
which is
And we
absolutely-
just say Jock as in Jock from the Whiskey Jar.
Yes.
Yeah, the Whiskey Jar, that is in Las Americas,
Yes.
stars, yeah?
It is, yes.
Yeah, so that's absolutely incredible. And then from there, I've also heard that you're also a bit of a cook for is it for some of the other charities that you've been cooking for as
Yeah,
well?
I mean, we've all just sort of, got together and tried to do our little bit for anyone that was obviously in need of help through lockdown.
Was this-
And for me, because I'm on my own.
Well, that
as
was
well.
it. That's what I was going to ask. Was this for your benefit as well?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard enough being in lockdown, but being on your own is mind-numbing. You can only imagine. And I'm not really one for sitting in and watching TV. I'm not. I mean,
Right.
I speak to my friend Philippa most days on FaceTime, and she goes, "Hayley,
Shout
you've-"
out Philippa.
Yeah, Philippa Rank Keating. She goes, "Hayley, you've not had your TV, so I haven't switched my TV on for about a month."
Right.
I'm not one of those people that sits down, and I'd rather be out doing stuff, meeting friends, going to the beach, training.
And when you're not allowed in lockdown, you've obviously then got to do other stuff. And who are you cooking for? Who's the?
We did it for Noah's Ark.
For Noah's Ark,
which is down in Portacolon.
Yeah.
On the first floor, just next door to Freebird officers.
Fantastic.
And they were feeding over 100 people during lockdown.
Fantastic.
Wow, over 100 people.
Yeah,
That's
and
incredible.
that's 3 times a week as well. Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
So it was hitting.
So, let's just, from what you were saying earlier on about being on your own during lockdown,
Yeah.
and you were getting faced with Flipper. I do miss Flipper. Well, I hope she comes back.
Hang on a minute, what's Flipper?
Flipper.
Oh, Flipper.
Yeah,
Oh, is that what
we
it's
just
called?
got-
Sorry.
I call her Flipper.
Flipper.
I think it was
That's
when I
the
was
Geordie in
drunk.
you.
When I was drunk, I just couldn't say her full name, so I just ended up with Flipper. But we look at it from a mental health aspect as well, and you probably had to keep busy then. That was the case, otherwise you would probably
very
you would
much
have stopped
so.
throwing things at the TV that you weren't watching.
I mean, I say on my own, I do have a dog, so she
I've
was
seen
she
your
was
dog.
my
I've seen-
lifesaver.
on social media, I've seen the dog.
Yeah, she was my lifesaver. But I've never really suffered from, depression or anxiety or mental, and I'm really lucky for that. But trying to just keep yourself positive, really, I had a few days where I broke. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, for sure. And I've been on, FaceTime or
Yeah.
FaceTime's been my lifesaver, being able to see people that obviously are in the UK or wherever.
It's just people to talk to.
Yeah, and that bit of normality for
Yeah.
me. But yeah, there was up and down days like anything.
Yeah,
Especially
like
when you were a woman, my goodness me.
I won't know about that. Definitely won't know about that. So I'll give that one a
yeah.
skip. So let's bring us up to present day now. So
Yeah.
obviously we're in that new normality word again. We're there now. Some bars are open, not all bars are open. Some things are allowed, some things are not allowed. You're there with your mask on your lap. We've got ours at the side of us. What's happening now? What are you up to at this moment in time, Hayley? What's been going on in the last couple of days or last couple of weeks?
Yeah.
Got loads.
Whoa.
Well, I was up until about 2 weeks ago. I was thinking, okay, this is getting good. There's a few shows coming in. I'm keeping myself, and then all of a sudden, obviously, 14-day quarantine kicked in for
The
everybody.
UK quarantine.
And that was it. It written everything off for me. Like I went down from me doing 3 or 4 shows a week, back again to now I've got 1. It's rubbish. But luckily for anyone that has been to any of the events at Vivo, the MHT.
That's in Los Americas. That's the That's the mini golf place in Los Americas.
Yeah,
opposite
right on
Veronicas.
the
Is that
corner
right?
where Veronicas and Star
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
Yeah.
Vivo.
You got there eventually.
I'm not really a man about town in the Veronicas, Daz. Come on. You know what I mean? I'm up on the golf. I need a passport to get into town.
And days of sales.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, Hayley. So going down at Vivo, what's happening down there?
So they've put together a thing called ActFest where various people have either joined forces with others or, people that have maybe a production show that they can put together.
Yeah.
They've been able to use the venue as an actual location to put on bigger shows.
I've seen it, yeah, and I'm fully aware about this. To me,
Because of me and Shell.
well, obviously with you and Shelley as well, but it looks like that the artists have then actually taken the production into their own hands.
Yeah.
They've created their own show,
Yeah.
and then Vivo have actually given them the live platform for you guys to actually then express your show and actually produce your show for them to see it. And that's down with Stuart, Paul, and Joel, isn't it, down there
Yes,
as well?
that's a great team.
Look at you, name dropper.
Well, sometimes
you're going to be in with a click, haven't you?
You know what it is,
That's
Daz?
what it is.
Some people do actually need the name drop because some people deserve it. Because in my eyes, when they've turned around and said, "Look, we'll support the acts that are out there and the
Yeah, of
entertainers."
course.
Being in a relationship with an entertainer myself, it's important that you can see what these people can do, and to give a platform for you guys to do it. Now,
Very much so.
I've heard. I mean, obviously you've done a couple of shows with Shelley, which is my Shelley, as I know about that, and they've been fantastic. You're doing a couple more.
Yeah.
Spice Girls is going global. Is that right? Which
Well,
one are you?
Can anybody guess with my accent? But anyway, let's just tell you.
Are you
Scary
serious?
Spice.
No, really.
am,
She had the
yeah.
best
I thought
voice.
you were Posh Spice.
Shut up, man. She can't
There's
sing.
nothing posh about me.
Posh Spice can't sing, you're dead right.
But you're going global. You're going global down with the Spice Girls.
Can you imagine? Do you know how these tickets went through the roof with Spice Girls?
For the one at Vivo.
Yes.
Yeah.
I saw that was like, okay, here we go, and then 2 days later, 3 days
Sold
later, I think
out.
it's sold out.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It really
Why?
is.
Who went to watch?
I mean,
Who
who,
wants to go and see the Spice Girls?
who don't love Zigga Zigga? I mean,
Me.
oh, wow.
No, but really, it was amazing. So what's happened then? Who's decided to take this? I mean, I say go global. Who's decided to take this onto one of the other islands? Which island are you going to go to?
Lanzarote, we are going on the 26th of this month. So we're obviously part of a WhatsApp group that
Yeah.
all of us girls performers. And Tracy just put it in there a few days ago. does anybody fancy Lanzarote on the 26th? And we were all like, hell yes, girl trip. Like, yeah.
Road trip.
Exactly that.
Amazing.
And especially for like
So whereabouts in Lanzarote are you going to be?
the MHT.
So MHT's got a place over in
They
Lanzarote
have
as well?
got another venue over there, yeah. It's
Right.
a little bit smaller, I believe.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, same sort of idea. And
Fantastic. And how are the sales going from that?
good, I think. Tracy's promoted it on quite a few of the platforms over there already.
Yeah.
Tracy as in Tracy Cutting, yeah.
Tracy Cutting, yes.
She's done that already?
Taken the reins, and she's done that. So yeah, so I think there's
World tour. I can see a world tour coming up here,
my
that's for
goodness
sure.
Me, I'd
Do you know
love
what?
that.
It's nice that there's something good come out of.
Well, I
Look at
was-
that. I mean, from
situation
something that's
going on.
literally where you go, where's your next meal ticket coming from? You actually worked out, you've designed a show, a show's been produced, it's gone down successfully on Tenerife, and it's now actually going to go to one of the other islands. I think that's absolutely brilliant. It really is.
It's actually the only third time that we'll actually be performing together.
Yeah.
We did obviously we did Tributo Fest in the auditorium in Las Americas, supporting the guys that do Rule the World take that tribute.
Did you do one at Skybar as well?
And then we
a
did
while
the
ago?
birthday for
That's right,
Skybar.
I remember, yes.
But it was a lot shorter show, so we've had to obviously add new things to this one because
Yeah.
it's two sets,
Yeah.
two sort of 45-minute sets, and you know, costume changes and all this kind of thing. So there's a few like new things thrown in and a few different ideas
You
and
see,
songs. And
as I said before, I know you, Hayley. I think something like that's right up your street because
Oh,
you
I
like
love
the
it.
productions, you
I
like
do,
the
yeah.
theatricals, you like the shows, the changes. The
I love the costumes, the wigs. Oh
Well, that's
yeah.
not the only production thing that you've done in the past. If we go
No.
to decades and shows like in
You're
history.
showing your age now at
Shows like
decades,
that,
Dad.
yeah.
History, I've done, Rock Story and
Do you
Exit
miss
Palace.
that kind of
Absolutely.
that kind of production?
I love nothing more than being on a big stage under the lights and having a big cast of people to work with. I think
Brilliant.
it's amazing.
So, moving on, we've got that to look forward to, that's for sure. Right.
First of all, what's the date though? What's the date for?
Oh, and
NXT?
also Legends. So we've got Spice Girls on the 18th.
Well, that was
already.
something I was. Yeah, I was going to talk about. Tell me
What's
about.
the date of the festival? What's the date of the Spice Girls?
Well, you can't have tickets because it's sold out, but it's Friday the
Still good.
18th.
Friday the 8th of September, sold out, and they're over Lanzarote on the 26th.
26th. So yeah, if you're in Lanzarote.
That takes us to Legends. What's that all about?
So while we're doing this interview, I believe that the guys have been on Oasis FM today.
Yeah, I've heard that as well.
Plug-in as well. So that's Katie J using her production skills
Yeah.
again.
She seems to follow everything. That I put a video up. Next thing you know, Katie J does one better. she always seems to beat me on it. I'll get you, Katie, but big up to you, by the way. They're absolutely fantastic.
Very,
what you
very
do.
talented.
She
with
knows what
she
she's
does.
doing.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
And so, obviously, as we all know, she's produced and done everything with her Lady Gaga show.
Which
I
is
think
brilliant. That's gone down a bomb as well at Vivo.
incredible.
They've
2
been
sold
sold-
out
yeah,
shows.
yeah, brilliant.
Amazing. So yeah, she's put all of her efforts into a new project, and she decided. We were sat actually after a Zumba session that we normally go to together. Trying to get a lockdown, get rid of the lockdown chub, and
Lockdown Timber.
and we were sat over a coffee, and we ended up getting into a conversation.
Yeah.
And she kind of went, I do believe that you used to, when you were back in the hotels, do a little bit of a Cher, Tina Turner kind of thing. And I was like, yeah. She
You
was
still
like,
got your wigs?
no. I actually took it back to the UK for a reason, and then it's still in my nana's loft.
Right.
So
All right, we'll not go there.
yeah. Then she said, well, do you mind dusting off your Cher and Tina vocals and maybe doing a new project? And I was like, yes, there's absolutely nothing else that we're all doing,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
let's go for it. And yes, so she's produced a full-on 7 different tributes with 5 different people.
And she's taken on the production of this herself.
Yes,
Do you know what it is
absolutely.
about? One of the things again we were talking about last week, Daz, about the people. When I was on the golf looking out into town and seeing what's going on, I was looking at who the grafters were, and without a shadow of doubt, Katie J to me
Oh,
was one of
my
the biggest grafters I have absolutely seen
We
on this
men-
island, with the shows, with the routines.
Yeah.
I think Gaga dropped an album, and within a day she was actually performing the new album. I mean, how many hours was
Yeah.
that? That's just ridiculous.
We mentioned things like this at the beginning of the show, and we spoke about like Mike Levy Jr., Grafter,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and Katie J. There's another one, Kids,
Yeah.
and then we said Mike Levy Jr., Kids,
Yeah.
and that is at the forefront of the mind to do the kids. You, there's just you.
No, the dog. Don't forget the
Oh
dog.
yeah, the dog.
Don't forget Mary. Yeah.
What drives you to do these projects?
I know I can't really say that because I'm only recently single since just the beginning of March as well, which is after 10 years. It's like now I do only have myself to think about.
Well, you're looking great for it, Hayley. That's
Thanks,
for sure.
darling. But do you know what it is? I think that is it, because obviously now sort of being on your own. I don't want to sit in the house, and I don't want to sort of just be on my own. So surrounding yourself with people, doing new things, new projects, exciting things.
I think I think the future that you've got in the next couple of months and where these things can go must be quite exciting for you to feel for itself. Like I know it's trepidation, isn't it? You're stepping out onto a new territory, going, I'm not sure what's going to happen. But on the flip side, it actually must be quite exciting.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm up for any. So if anybody else has got any more projects and you want to do anything, then
she's free, people. She's
yeah,
free.
Honestly, I'm just give me a call and I'll be there with bells on. Absolutely.
I want to finish things off now with a physical thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks, Hayley.
you.
Thank you. Honestly, it's been a pleasure.
I want to ask you, as we're going to do this with all our guests, who would you like to see come on the podcast?
Ooh. Do you know what? I'm going to go completely out of like sort of entertainment side of it and anything like that. And I was maybe thinking someone like Rob from Venture, or someone that's got a lot of businesses.
That's interesting.
Maybe
I've
Ross
tried to get in touch with him.
Really?
I've tried again. Can you ask him for us?
Of course.
Rob
Or maybe
why,
Ross Goes.
Why Rob from Venture Group? Why Rob?
Just because, to hear it from somebody else's side, I'm affected.
Who is Rob?
Rob owns Venture Restaurants.
And they've got a group of restaurants all over Tenerife.
All over Tenerife. Like not even just one or two.
Do
you know what amazes me about what I love?
faves.
I do a lot of airport runs, and you come out of the airport, as you drive out, the first sign you see, Venture Group, absolutely, they've got the apps going, they've got restaurants all over the island.
And of course, like I've sang in Magic, and Paul Fitzpatrick does Legato, so you just want to sort of hear it from somebody else's side. I mean, gosh, look how affected we are by just the certain venues that we work in, but when you own multiple restaurants and big businesses, just to hear like from them how it's affected them, and,
Of course,
and imagine how many staff. I can't imagine. And
I think that's a really good idea.
So
I think
you could kind of get us
I
in
will
there
hope,
with a bit.
or even maybe not Rob, or maybe there's someone that runs one of his restaurants, someone that's really in
we'll
charge.
definitely put that on our
Bigger,
to-do project.
The bigger, the better. Listen, Hayley, on behalf of myself and Rick, thank you very, very
Thank
much.
you very much
Thanks
for joining us, Hayley. It's
Thanks
been
for
absolutely
squeezing me in at
well,
such a hectic
honestly,
time.
You're such a busy lady. Listen, good luck with all your future ventures, everything that you're doing.
Thank
it's been
you,
absolutely
everyone.
brilliant to have you, and thank you very much.
Thanks, guys. Stay
Round of
safe.
applause for Hayley Butler, everybody. Come on.
Finally, get the Legends thing in. When is it?
19th, Saturday the 19th. Get your tickets, €20. 7 tributes, 5 people.
There
doing
we
it.
go.
Come
You've
on.
said it.
Doesn't break the Tenerife podcast.
How nice was that with Hayley Butler, Daz?
She was great, wasn't she?
Oh, she's amazing. So
Great.
forthcoming with information.
Do you know what? Last week with Sarah was great, and this week with Hayley was great.
Yeah, thanks Sarah, by the way, from last
thank
week.
you.
I hope
Yes,
you
thank
enjoyed
you.
it. And Hayley, thank you very much. It's been, for two shows in, the guests that we've had, I think have been absolutely amazing.
They have, and we're not just going to stick to our pals kind
No,
of thing.
no, we need to push ourselves now, Daz.
Yeah,
we need
we
to look
do,
a little
we
bit
do.
further. We need to realise, reach a little bit further into the community. What I'd like to do, and we've talked about before as well, is I want to go and have a look at the businesses that are on Tenerife. There's a couple of really big restaurant bar businesses that have, that have most probably also been affected in the last 6-7 months.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's put it out there. If you want to come on the show to be a guest, and you are a business or a bar or whatever,
You feel that you've been affected by COVID, and also affected in a positive way maybe as well. It's we want to hear your story. It's about people's stories.
Exactly, yeah. Let us know. Send us an email to that Tenerife podcast @gmail.com.
Brilliant, you got it. Go into Facebook, That Tenerife Podcast, also on Facebook as well. We are on Twitter somewhere, you'll find us on there as well, but I think Facebook and I think the email's most probably going to be the most popular place. For myself personally, Emma, thank you very much for looking after us, pet. You've been amazing. You've been amazing. Tony's been absolutely brilliant as well. The Attic Bar in Los Cristianos, that is the place where you need to be. It's the Passerella Centre, just by the mountain that you can see overlooking Beverly Hills Heights.
Beverly Hills Heights, yeah. I'm glad I know what it's called now. on the top of the Murdo Strip.
Are we doing it again?
Probably, yes.
When will we do it next week?
I think so.
Another bar?
Another bar.
Another guest?
Yes, another guest. All will be revealed in the next coming days.
We'll have to get working on that one. For now,
yeah. See you later.
adios.
Adelante.